Welcome back, folks. Part 5 to my Battle of Brandywine, using GMT's Great Battles of the American Revolution. I'm going to pick up where we left off. We're at the top of turn 4, and I'll try and be as brief as possible. I don't want to keep going over my strategies and stuff that I already did in previous episodes, so let's get to it. Now, one thing I do have to point out right off the bat is I did make an error from the previous episode right up here. We have gray. If you remember, the artillery, this one right here, was adjacent to him in the last episode. And I basically forgot to withdraw him or retreat 3 hexes and disrupted. I only moved him 1 hex and disrupted. So he should have moved 3 hexes, and I went in this direction. That's currently where he is. And so the guns can't be attacked like I was planning to do. So that's the situation with that. Just wanted to correct that. Also, it is the top of the British turn. They have initiative, if you remember, and we're going to kind of pick up with that. I'll kind of tell you what I want to accomplish at this point. There's no reinforcements for either side at this point. So we're going to stick to our plan. We're going into this turn as the British with 2 momentum. Americans have none. We're going to stick to our original plan here, and we're going to continue consolidating our position up here on the ridge line. I do want to get my guns in position to fire so I can get some use out of them early. There's 2 batteries back here, and there's a battery up here, which is in range of the enemy. I won't be able to fire this turn. You can only fire during the opponent's turn. It's known as defensive artillery fire. Again, I think I've covered that. One thing I have to think about is what am I going to do with Gray now that he's taken this primary ford. He's got 2 regiments with him, and he's a pretty decent commander. He's rated 1 as opposed to a 0 in close combat, so that's a bonus. Did want to take the guns, but that's not there no more, and this is a formidable position here where Sullivan himself is commanding. So I don't think I want to push forward with this unit. It's enough for me to hold onto this ford. I could see using this later on in the battle if I need to get on the flank of the Americans. And otherwise, there's no real objectives up here. I mean, for victory points or victory conditions, no reason to cross here. But over here, on the other hand, it's a different story. You can zoom in a little bit, as we do have to get across this ford. That's the easiest point to cross anyway, if you want to get to Proctor's battery. So I think right away what we're going to do in this turn, we're going to focus over here, and I'm going to try and assault these positions where Maxwell is and take him out of there, because turn 4, Green's forces are automatically released, so he could start bringing troops across without giving up any victory points. So that's a given, really, if he wants to do that. So we'll see. And on the other hand, Sullivan might release the entire army early and move anywhere he wants anyway, just out of the bivouac area, which I'm still contemplating. As the Patriot player, I am playing this solo, and we'll see what I do regarding that. But this is where we're at. So first thing we're going to do is concentrate over on the right side of the map, and we're going to force Maxwell's position, hopefully, and take those heights. I at least want to be able to do that in the next turn. So stay tuned, folks. I'll show you the results of all that. All right, so here we are after movement. Again, we're going to focus over here. You can see what I did. I moved up the Rangers. Let me get a better position here. I got the Rangers that were back here. But there's no need to protect those guns at this point. But they're with the Welsh Fusiliers. And they're currently on the road corner right here. And they're in a position to attack and throw back these enemy cavalry. They're supported by the King's Own, who are also here. So there's 2 enemy units to be engaged here. So this is one combat area. Over here on the actual breastwork location, you can see where Maxwell is. There's going to be some more action as well. We're going to be fighting across breastworks. I can't move any further forward. I can't go around them, so we're going to have to face off against the breastworks. But fortunately for the British, it's only Maxwell and a light infantry unit, a strength 3 unit, behind those breastworks. But I also brought up the guns. These are going to be firing, defensive fire. They don't take part in the close combat, but they will be able to fire if I can hold the position with basically close range artillery. So we'll see how that strategy works out for me. It won't be good if I'm forced to retreat, but I don't anticipate that happening. I've got substantially good odds here. I've got a strength 5 unit here with Fraser's Highlanders. I've got strength 5 or 6 here. There's a 3. There's another 3, so there's strength 6 here. And again, these will be combined going against Maxwell. Yeah, and plus I have Gnifhausen himself, who's right there. It has a combat modifier of 1. And of course back here we have Ferguson's rifles, who don't have to take part in the fighting. And I don't know. If he does, he's got 2 enemies. He won't have to attack here, because these guys are engaging here. But he would have to attack this. But fortunately, he's rifle armed. He doesn't have to attack. He can stay out of the combat. And I think I'll do that. He's just going to sit back and shoot at the enemy. Probably these guns back here, along with what's in there. Some more horrible units, not even light infantry. Strength 1 unit. So who knows? Maybe he can take those guns. But that's about it for the close combats, where we're going to be doing some fighting. You can see I moved some of my forces, straightened up some lines, moved the Germans up slightly. And over here I did move the 3rd Queen's Light Dragoons. I think that's the Queen's Dragoons. They are across the ford, and they're located in this position here. Do some recon work here. We'll see. Alright, so let's get into the combat. Okay, rifle fire and defensive artillery fire for the Patriots was finished. Rifle fire was ineffective. Ferguson up here on the hill was unable to score any hits against this infantry behind this, protecting that artillery. So he was ineffective. And the Patriots, let's see, the only artillery they fired was over here. They did get these artillery here firing on this position. They did disrupt one of the units. The 5th Regiment of Foot has been disrupted. So there was that. Let me see. And of course, there was no artillery fire here. These guys fired on this battery and forced them to retreat. So this battery of British guns, a strength 2, has withdrawn as well. No other artillery fire was capable of firing. I think, yeah, that's about it. All right, so now, with that out of the way, we will get to the close combats and see what happens. All right, you know what? I made a mistake again, but I just caught it. If you remember up here, up on the heights where Sullivan is located, there is a battery of guns. I said it didn't fire. I said it did fire and was ineffective. Actually, it never fired. So I resolved that fire. I also forgot to retreat this disrupted unit, the 5th Foot. So they have to go back 3 hexes towards where they entered. So they're actually there. He would have fired, and it would have been this guy that was the target. And I just went through all the dice rolls, and wouldn't you know, it was another really good roll. He was also disrupted. So we're going to retreat him back to the same location. They're still within stacking. And I think Gray's going to go with him. I'll have to double check that. I think he retreats with him. But anyway, I'll get to that. So yeah, there was that. This artillery up here under Sullivan up on the heights did actually fire. And there they are. They are disrupted and retreated. Sorry, folks. I forgot to shoot with them. So yeah, that was very effective. And also, that will drop the British morale 1 for having a unit disrupted. I already counted the first unit that was disrupted. They were at 21. So chink, chink. They're now at 19. So a little success for the Patriots. Now, we're going to get to this combat up here, which is about to be resolved, as you can see. So hang on, folks. I'll be right back. All right, before I resolve this critical moment in the battle, for Maxwell anyway, I'm going to roll the dice for you guys and kind of show a little bit more of the combat, because it's pretty important. I'll ignore these combats that took place already for now. Let's just focus on resolving this. It's basically Maxwell. He's currently with this unit here, which is a strength 3 light infantry unit, and they're behind these works. The 2 stacks that are attacking are right here with Gnifhausen and what's that, Fraser's? Fraser's and some guns, which are not counted in the combat. They're strength points anyway. And we also have a 3 and another 3. So 6, 5, it's a strength of 11 in the attack, going against Maxwell's strength of 3, which is going to come down to 4-to-1 odds, I believe. Total modifiers, let me back out just a little bit here. You can see the modifiers I came up with. Quite a few. I got a +2. One came from Kniphausen's combat rating, as well as the lead unit, which was a +1. Army morale is not going to affect it. It's normal morale. So total of +2 for the British, for command and the morale of the unit. The opposing unit has a morale of +1, which is read in reverse, so it's a -1. And also Maxwell is involved, but he has a 0 command rating in combat, so that doesn't apply. However, they're attacking. All the units are attacking across breastworks or fieldworks. They're attacking into fieldworks. There's a penalty of -1. We're also attacking uphill. This is the British I'm speaking of. That's another -1. So I believe I counted all these. The total is going to be a -2 to the roll. So, yeah, under the 4-to-1 column, if we take a look at that, you can see the possible results here. And the British are the attacker, so they're the left-hand result, as you can see here. And by the way, these little red dots show that that side gains a momentum marker. So when you get really drastic results, you get momentum, one side or the other, the attacker or the defender. So yeah, we're going to roll this under the 4-to-1 odds, and it's going to be a -2 to the roll. So let's take a look at the roll. Oh yeah, before I forget, the tactics cards. That's where that other modifier was coming from. A -1 in favor of the defenders. They played turn flank. They do have a commander. They can use this. There is an open flank. This card was taken. So they have a turn flank for the Patriots going up against, wouldn't you guess it, a frontal assault. It makes sense, right? And I pretty much drew these pretty much random. I took out all the cards that didn't make sense to me and just left a nice little pile from each side, and I randomly picked one. And this is what it come up. So that's another -1 to the combat roll. We got, let's see, turn flank for the defender. Cross-reference with a frontal assault is a -1 to the combat roll. So that's where that came from. So it's a D10. We'll use the blue dice. Or no, we're going to use the red dice, because it's the British attack. And we're going to subtract 2 from this. Oh, that is not good. And in case you don't see that, that is a 1. So you can't get any worse than that, folks. And we're under the 4-to-1 column, too. So it's 1, -2. We're down here. So attackers' lead unit will be disrupted. No damage to the defenders, the Patriots. And also, momentum will be given to the Patriots. So let's take care of that right now. All right, so we're going to grab a momentum for the Patriots. They'll have access to this. They'll be able to do something with it, I'm sure. All right. And I didn't use any momentum. I've not got it for the British. I only have 2, and I don't want to waste them so early in the battle. Yeah, so they gained 1 momentum. In addition, the British morale, well, we'll take care of this in a minute. The lead unit, let's see up here, is going to be disrupted. And the lead unit, let's see which one it was. I don't think it was Fraser's. It was, where are they? Right here, the 49th. They were the lead unit. So this unit right here, involved in the combat, will be disrupted, and we're forced to retreat 3 hexes, and it's going to go down this way. We'll just take them right down. 1, 2, 3. We're going to put them right there. You ignore the terrain cost. It's 1 anyway. And, yeah. So that's what's left. Now the other units, I don't think the attacking artillery makes this test, but all the other units have to check morale. If they fail, they will also retreat, and that's not good. So let me give you the results of that. Get right back to you, folks. Pretty brutal for the British. I didn't expect that. Okay, folks, hang on. I'll give you the results of this combat and all the other combats, too. All right, so that's it. Fortunately, the rest of the units in the combat did pass their morale. They rolled pretty good, and they did not retreat, nor are they disrupted, etc., etc., etc. They're still in good shape. We just basically lost a unit from the front lines, which was this unit. Strength 3 unit with a +1 morale. 49th, 48th, I can't read it from here, but it is disrupted. The British Army morale dropped by 1 because of that. And let's see where they're at currently. Right there, they're down to 18, and the Americans are still at 17. Actually, I think the Americans went up 1 somewhere in this action. But yeah. And the combat's over here, as you can see. The Patriots decided to withdraw their horse all the way back to the creek. They got their backs against the creek now. And these guys advanced into the hex. There was no fighting otherwise. And the Queen's Own was fighting against these lights here, who I think the result was retreat. And they retreated. Hex. So I forget what the result was, but the effect was they retreated 1 hex. And the King's Own advanced and now occupies the position formerly held by the Patriots. So that's the situation. Not bad. It could have been a lot worse, especially right here. So yeah, that's going to be a tough nut to crack, and I'm sure the Patriots are going to be coming across that creek. Can't be positive, but I think they'd be foolish not to at this point. That said, the British are in a good position here. We're all lined up. And you'll also notice over here I fixed this little debacle, this little mess I made. 2 units disrupted. And also Gray, I decided, would retreat with those units. It was a choice. He could either remain or he could retreat with those units. So he pulled back. So just as soon as the Dragoons crossed the ford, got to the other side and started thinking, let's do some sneaking around. Their buddies ran away. They withdrew from the ford. Not too good. So folks, that is it. That is the battle so far. I'm about to go into the Patriot turn. They'll have opportunities to come across that Brandywine Creek. And yeah, I'm going to get into that with you in a bit here and at least give you my plans as we go into the Patriot side of the turn. Okay, folks, hang in there. All right, folks, I finished the Patriot movement and rally parts of the turn. About to get into some shooting, actually, for the British. As you can see, I gave up the victory points to release the army in the 4th turn. That is a loss. Well, I gave up 2 victory points to the British. So they're currently at 5.5 victory points to 1/2 victory points for the Patriots. Yep, going all out. That's what that is. You can see some of Sullivan's troops have already started heading north, and there's quite a few of them. We'll have to really show you the details of those units. You pretty much know what they are. They're a little mix of artillery. They've got some cavalry in there, and a lot of big units. They got a strength 5 and strength 6, and another strength 5 infantry unit moving in that direction. So it's a lot of good troops. Sterling is in command over there. And down here, Sullivan also moved his artillery back in place, as well as some Patriot infantry. So they're in control of the ford once again. And of course, these guys are still disrupted. And over here, you can see the big push has begun. Green's force has come across in strength. Green himself, he was previously back here along this road after entering the battlefield earlier, bringing on some reinforcements, and he is coming across in force at this point. This is bad news for the British. He's got some big units here, including these guys with the red trousers, the 2nd Pennsylvania Brigade, strength 4. That's a big unit. There's going to be a combat here going against the King's Own. There's also some troops here that crossed directly across the Brandywine. Started over here, I believe, and he moved into this hex. So the only restriction is that you cannot do that. For one thing, it takes all your movement to be able to cross the Brandywine outside of a ford. So you can cross this, but you forfeit all of your movement. In addition, you can't leave an enemy zone of control and enter an enemy zone of control with this kind of movement. This was not the case. The unit was back here, not in an enemy zone of control, but he did move into one. And I believe there's 6 strength points here as well. 4, 5. I can't get this off. Yeah. 4, 5, and 6. So there's 12 strength over here. That's a lot of Patriots coming across, and the King's Own is the only one holding the ground. And this is all at the foot of these hills here, where Maxwell is holding out against all odds. There is troops coming in his direction to support him, including a rifle unit and some troops back here, including more rifles. So yeah, there is that. And Green himself, of course. And he's got a substantial force. This is really going to throw the wrench in the works for the British, I think. This was an unfortunate occurrence. I don't know, maybe I should have took my time and looked at the odds a little bit better. I don't know. We're going to have to do some rallying here as well, a disrupted unit. And, of course, I've yet to launch an attack forward. But I don't know. I'm going to have to think about this. Things are not going the way I expected. So this is definitely going to be a problem for the British. I'll have to think about that one. The Americans coming across like that. Yeah, it's not good. Washington is still in place up on the hill. He has some sizable units of troops up there that might have to be dealt with if Howe breaks through from the north. And yeah. And that's in turn 6 and 7. Mainly turn 7. That's when Howe himself arrives on that big long road from the north. But I think the Patriots are definitely going to get the positioning they want in the next turn, turn 5, all around that hill area here, Birmingham Hill. So, yeah, let's take a look at the units on the way there. Here, how's that? A close-up view of what's going on here. And yeah, they're going to travel down that road, get into position here. Birmingham Meeting House, and on those hills there, that's going to be tough for the British to get up on. And by the way, there's special rules for this building here, which I believe favors the guy that's occupying it. So it's going to be a critical fight there. And of course, there's where Howe will be arriving in turn 6 and 7. Also in turn 5, you'll see right here, Patriots will get some cavalry right there. It's that other unit. They're going to be getting those 2 units, and they're going to be arriving on that road as well. You'll notice there's a blue and red divide on the D entry point. It's because both sides use it. And that's why. Those are probably the guys that have been scouting and trying to locate Howe, bring news to Washington what's going on. But yeah, there's a good sizable force on their way to the north. You can see the 5 in there, another 5. There's a 6. And what's he got in here? He's got a 1, rifles. He's got some more horse. And I'm not going to pick up all the counters, and some guns. And yeah, that's the situation, folks. And so with that, I think I'm going to conclude this part, a little cliffhanger for you guys, as we go into the second half of the Patriots' turn, which is basically going to start with the defensive fire for the British. They're going to start opening up with their cannon. And we'll get into that in the next part. I don't want this video to go too long. And after that, it's going to be the rifle shooting and the close combats. Guys that are adjacent to each other currently will have to fight in the Patriots' turn. And keep in mind, the Patriots did get a momentum. And of course, there's the current army morale. So, Patriots are making a comeback here. I don't know what I'm going to do about this on the right. I didn't expect that. I kind of did, because I know Green could come across in turn 4 anyway. But, and of course I kind of knew they'd release the army. But the British don't know that. But, I don't know. I wasn't thinking of this. I should have seen it. I don't have a lot of troops there to deal with this onslaught. I can only hope that the counterattack here kind of fails and peters out. And I could take that position where Maxwell is. That's the high point of this area. We'll see. I'm probably going to end up diverting troops, which is a shame. I don't want to use my Germans yet. But, all right, folks, we'll see. I hope you enjoyed. Leave me some comments and thoughts about this battle. It's a really enjoyable game. And I will get back to you with the next turn, or the next part of turn 4 for the Patriots in the next episode. So hang in there, folks. It's only going to get better. Take care.